And the Vietnamese-backed government in Phnom Penh have been battling resistance forces in Kampuchea since Vietnam overthrew the infamous Khmer Rouge.
The Vietnamese, they are very expansionist. They are very imperialist, very colonialist. The situation, according to the Vietnamese, in Kampuchea is irreversible. That means that they are determined to stay in Kampuchea. So they are not ready to soften their attitude. On the contrary, they want to remain very tough.
In 1982, Sihanouk made his first return visit to Kampuchean soil since the fall of Pol Pot.
We want peace, but peace without freedom, without liberty, without independence has no significance for us, is unacceptable. Reason why we will not give up fighting. We will go on fighting against the Vietnamese invaders till the day they accept to settle peacefully and in a friendly fashion the issue, the Kampuchean issue, the so-called problem of Kampuchea.
More than 3 years before, he'd retired in despair, vowing never to play any part in politics again. But now, in a tour of the border camps, Sihanouk announced his commitment to join a united front of resistance against the foreign control of his country. In this new coalition, Sihanouk had joined for a second time with Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge. Also included was another faction led by Son Sann. These were the Free Khmers, who'd been welded together as the Khmer People's National Liberation Front, the KPNLF. In earlier days, Son Sann had served as a prime minister under Sihanouk, and before that as a personal tutor when Sihanouk was a young king. But now they were divided, and their rift was only papered over for the sake of the coalition. We still have a long way to go, my sons, Sihanouk says. But the United Nations as a world organization and many independent countries support us. So the Vietnamese are alone and very isolated, says Sihanouk.
I made all efforts to persuade the Vietnamese to deal with me, to settle peacefully our differences. But I did not succeed. Now it is too late to have Sihanouk with the Vietnamese. I'm not accustomed to play a double game. A double game, no. But having failed in my attempts to settle the problem, our dispute directly with Hanoi, now I decide once for all to be in the coalition. I will not resign.
For many Kampucheans, Sihanouk's return was an omen. He was still revered as the living God King. As they pressed forward to touch him in person, they called out his old title, Father King. Others were incredulous. How could Sihanouk join in a new coalition with Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge?
Yes, the horrors of the Khmer Rouge are well known. I have, 5 children of mine, 14 grandchildren of mine were killed by the Khmer Rouge. In my heart, in my spirit, there is much suffering, but we cannot, wipe out the Khmer Rouge. So we have to try to soften their behavior. They used to be very cruel, and I continue to say to them, please avoid to be cruel. Please be like the other Cambodians. And it seems that they would like to listen more or less to me. I am not sure that they have changed their mind, but the fact is that they are intelligent enough to see that they cannot go on as they used to be before.
China would continue to back the Pol Pot forces come what may. Chinese trucks and generous military aid were shipped through Thailand to revive the Khmer Rouge. The Chinese declared that these guerrillas would bleed the Vietnamese. Pol Pot himself had survived, but he discreetly retired from any public political role. However, as military commander, he was vital to regrouping the Khmer Rouge and mounting their war of attrition to wear down the Vietnamese. Once they'd recovered, the Khmer Rouge were able to mobilize up to 40,000 fighters. Later, the Vietnamese succeeded in overrunning all the camps and guerrilla bases along the border. This was a serious blow to the other resistance factions, but the Khmer Rouge were undaunted. Operating in small teams, their guerrillas continued to range throughout the country, laying ambushes and striking terror. Understandably, there was nothing the Khmer Rouge could ever do to redeem themselves in the eyes of most Kampucheans. Nevertheless, they made a number of public gestures in a vain attempt to improve their image. In a chilling understatement, the Khmer Rouge leaders now conceded that yes, some mistakes were made. But of course they were not to blame for the mass murders or any policy of genocide. These were conspiracies hatched by the Vietnamese, they said. Incredibly, after a series of public meetings, the Khmer Rouge claimed that they had renounced communism altogether. Henceforth, the Communist Party itself had been disbanded. Pol Pot's closest partner and his deputy prime minister was Ieng Sary. Speaking at a Khmer Rouge base inside Kampuchea, he denies that dissolving the Communist Party was just a ploy. We started our Communist Party in order to oppose the Vietnamese. Regardless of communist theory, we could not abolish the borders between our countries.
But the main objective of the founding of this party is to fight against the Vietnamese ambition, expansionist ambition to swallow Kampuchea. And it has been right from the beginning. The Vietnamese was always against the founding of this party, because for the Vietnamese, they want, as you can see, as you know, their ambition is to have just one party, one people,